What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Daily Show. Papa Dude and I bring you in on a Saturday, and a reminder to people that may watch this a little bit later than normal. We do the Saturday show an hour early, and we do that because college football starts right when the show usually starts. So it's kind of good to get in here an hour early and get to it. So, all right, Papa Dude, it's college football, the actual opening Saturday. I guess, not a lot of huge games. There's no doubt about it. There's not a lot of, ranked opponent versus ranked opponent today, but it's just good to have it back, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to me like there's not as many games, marquee games this Labor Day weekend as usual.
Yeah, the only one really is tomorrow that we'll talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, it just seems like not quite as much as we normally have. Usually there's a huge SEC game. Or featuring an SEC team, which there is one. But usually Alabama's playing somebody pretty good, or Georgia maybe. And there are a lot of cupcake games this weekend, which is okay. But it's good that we're getting back into it. I thought the Louisville game last night was awesome against Georgia Tech. Yep. You got to be a college football junkie to be watching that. But I thought it was really entertaining last night. And it's kind of weird for you and I. We're usually at OU on opening day. I believe it's the first one we've missed since we had season tickets. But family responsibilities came up this weekend, and the game was at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we just decided give our ticket or sell our tickets to somebody and not go. So that's why we're here today.
That's right. Yeah. Jesse, happy Saturday to you as well. It was last Saturday I was with you and Jalen, and now we're here. College football, it moves quick. So we'll see what happens there. I did not know this. Jimmy Buffett died?
Yes, he did. I just saw that. Yes.
Oh, man. That's not good.
That's the guy's an icon.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, he's an icon, but he's one of those icons that didn't have a ton of hits. He didn't have a ton of hit records. A lot of his songs on his albums became popular, but they weren't singles. They weren't hit singles. Of course, he's famous for Margaritaville, which is one of the most iconic songs of all time.
All right. Yeah, that's sad. I certainly didn't know that. So, yeah.
Take a guess. How old do you think he was?
81.
No, he was younger than that. I think he was somewhere I read he was 77, and I also read 76. So,
wow.
One or the other. Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. All right. Well, let's get to it here. Let's get to the games. We're going to do 3 college football games, and we'll talk about the 2 big races today, do the best bets, get you out of here for a Saturday. Let's start with this one, Boise State and Washington. I think this is one of the more interesting games today, especially when you look at the spread. So Boise State at Washington. Washington, a 14-point favorite. No doubt they should be the favorites. I don't know. That's pretty high there. Total sitting at 59. What do you think about this one today at Washington?
Well, I agree with you. I would hate to open up with Boise State. One thing about it, though, when you open up with a pretty good opponent, you have your team's attention through the preseason. And Washington knows that Boise State's pretty good. So that they should be prepared and they should be ready to play. It's not like this team's going to sneak up on them. I agree with you. The line is kind of high. That total to me might be a little bit high. I don't know. Of course, with college football, they score a lot of points. If I was going to bet the game, and I'm not, but if I was going to bet it, I would take Boise State plus 14.
I took the Boise State plus 14 in this one. I think they'll play them close. I think Washington gets the win, but I think this will be a pretty good game. I think this is a game that not getting a ton of talk about. I think this will be a pretty good one. So I took Boise State plus that 14. I do think Washington gets the victory. All right, North Carolina, South Carolina. That's the next one we'll talk about. This is a really good one. 2.5-point favorite here for North Carolina. Neutral field game, total at 63.5. All right, give me your thoughts. I'm going to let you talk. I will be right back. I got to let the cat out, so you talk while I'm gone here before she tears all of our carpet up. So go ahead, give me your thoughts on this one.
Okay. Well, I think this will be a great game. 2 high-profile quarterbacks. Drake May for the Tar Heels is rated, I think, the number 2 quarterback right now behind Caleb Williams, I believe. And so he's highly ranked. If he has a great year, he could win the Heisman Trophy, perhaps. I'm talking about May for North Carolina, Aaron. But they're going to have to win a lot of games for him to beat out of Caleb Williams if Caleb plays as well as we think he's going to.
Yeah.
And then Spencer Rattler at South Carolina was really good down the stretch for the Gamecocks as they played extremely well the last part of the season in the SEC. So this is a fascinating game. I think it's going to be a great game between two teams that probably don't like each other. They don't play each other all the time. It's hard for me to get behind North Carolina until I see if they're any better on defense because they've not been very good defensively. And then I've got Rattler, who I'm not totally sold on as well. I'm going to take a flyer and take Carolina, South Carolina. I heard Dan Mullen last night. He said, I'm taking Carolina in this game. Of course, with North Carolina and South Carolina. He didn't say which one. But I think he took North Carolina because of the quarterback. He thought May would play better than Rattler. I think the South Carolina team may be a little better. So the overall team. So I'm going with them to beat the Tar Heels today.
I think defense wins the game, and I think South Carolina's got more than North Carolina. I think that's where the key comes. I took the Gamecocks here, plus 118. I went money line, did not play the spread. So I like that plus 118 price. I think South Carolina defensively will get more stops than North Carolina, and I think that's been North Carolina's problem. Offensively, they've been really good under Mac Brown, but that defense has just not been able to stop anybody. I'm with you. Like, I'm not a Spencer Rattler fan per se, but I do think he's a guy. If you give him time, he can beat you. And I think that he'll have time to throw. And I think South Carolina wins it. So give me the Gamecocks in this one. I'm going to take the plus 118 on the money line. All right, one more to go. And this is one we talked about a little bit here. And you might say, yeah, South Alabama and Tulane, who really cares? Well, these are two really good teams from the smaller conferences. Tulane's a 6.5-point favorite here. Of course, they won the Cotton Bowl last year over USC. Total sitting at 51.5. All right, where are you going with this one?
Well, we talked about this on our show Wednesday. Mm-hmm. This seems like a line that should be more for Tulane when you just look at it. But as we dove into it on our shows, South Alabama was 10-3 last year. This is a pretty good team, and they played a good league. So this is not an easy game. And we've learned in the past, these lines that look like they're wrong, it's a trap. And you got to stay away from them. Because when I first glanced at this jumped out at me, and I said, Tulane should cover this pretty easy. But the more I thought about it, I'm going to stay away from it. Tulane had a great season. They're extremely well coached. Their quarterback is back. They lost their running back, and he was really good. But the pressure is on them. They have a lot of hype. I think they're ranked in the top 25. Well, they're not, but they will be if they do what they're supposed to. So a lot of hype. The other thing that worries me is they got Ole Miss next week. Are they looking past South Alabama to play an SEC opponent? That could factor into this too. I'm staying away with it, but I do think Tulane covers.
This is a tough one. I think Tulane's going to cover. I like it at 6.5, a lot more than 7. It was 7 earlier in the week. I think they're going to cover this game. I think they're good enough. It's at home. Like I said, the look ahead is a problem, but I do think you can show players film. You can look at a team's record and you can get them ready. So I get it. I know that Ole Miss game is going to mean everything to them, but we'll see what happens. I think they're going to be ready to go today. Give me Tulane minus the 6.5 in that one. All right, let's go to the racing side of things here. We got a huge day of racing. We've got the Pacific Classic going on today at Del Mar. We also have 12 races at Saratoga, including the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Let's go to the Pacific Classic first, Papa Dude. Race 10 on the card at Del Mar. The 3-year-olds lead the way. Go Rocket Ride and Arabian Night are your top 2 choices, at least according to the morning line. Where are you going in this one?
Well, they're not my top 2 choices.
Okay.
One of them is. The other one is not. You can probably guess which one. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a good race. I wrote down 5 names. See if you considered all 5 of these. Go Rocket Ride, of course. The 5-horse Defunded. 7, Slow Down Andy. The 8, Senior Buscador, and the 9 Arabian Night. Is that pretty much where you're at as well? Anybody
Yeah, I mean that's the serious contenders for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of narrowed it down. I'm not a big Arabian Night fan. Hasn't run a whole lot. Had a long layoff, um, and he was okay in the Haskell. He finished third, and that may be this may be a progression. And now he comes out and runs extremely well today. But I just like a couple of more a little bit better. I've always liked Senior Buscador, whatever it is. I've always kind of liked him. Um, he won the Grade 2 San Diego handicap last time out. And so, this horse runs well on the West Coast. I think he's got a chance. The two I slow down Andy, I don't think is quite as good as the others. So I'm between Go Rocket Ride and Defunded in this one. I want to go Rocket Ride, and I will. I'll go ahead and take him when the Haskell seems to be running extremely well. But Defunded is pretty much a threat, and he could go to the front in this. I think he did the last time out.
Mm-hmm.
No, last time out he lost. But when he won the San Diego handicap, I think he went to the front.
Mm-hmm.
So he could do that. They got to go get him. There is speed in the race. The 3, the 7, the 9, the 1, and the 5, I think, have a chance to go. But I'm going to go with Go Rocket Ride to hold him off and win it.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rocket Ride as well. I think he stalks the pace kind of like he did in the Haskell. I think Arabian Night and Defunded, definitely two interesting horses from a speed standpoint. I think Arabian Night gets the lead. That's kind of how I see it on paper. I would project that the better of the Baffert horses gets the lead. So whoever they think, is trading the best or coming into the race the best, I think they'll send that one the hardest, get that horse to the front. So I'd look at the 5 or the 9, one of the two Bafferts on top. I think Slow Down Andy will be right around there. Stiletto Boy's always kind of looming, in that 3rd, 4th position. But I think Go Rocket Ride will do the same thing he did in the Haskell, just kind of get on the rail, let the speed go, and then go get him. And I don't think they have to come back to him quite hard, real bad. I think he can just go out there and go catch them. I expect a much better race from Arabian Night. I just don't have a lot of interest putting him on top at the price that I think he's going to be. I think he's going to get bet again. So I like Go Rocket Ride. I like Senior Buscador to hit the board here. He won the local prep for this one. I think he's coming into the race pretty darn good. He's always been pretty good. He's faced, some of these better older horses this year, and he couldn't beat them, but he was around. And so I think at 10-1, he makes sense underneath at a price. But sounds like we're both going Go Rocket Ride in this one. I don't know, the classic picture is so muddled right now, and we're going to talk about another older race here in just a second. But is Go Rocket Ride the favorite for the classic if he wins this race? I think he might be.
Yeah, I do too. He's got a shot, and this is going to put him up there, with like Arcangelo and some of those others. So this is a big race for him.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he can do. I think he'll come out and fire on all cylinders today.
I think he will as well. So whoever wins that race, you're going to be looking at a horse that's probably going to be, I don't know if he's going to be the favorite, but he's going to be one of the big choices for the Breeders' Cup Classic. All right, let's move on here to the Jockey Club Gold Cup Stakes. A field of 8 in this spot. It's going to really be interesting. They're all older horses here. It's not a great field, but you do have Rattle and Roll and Proxy. They've been pretty consistent this year. Papa Dude, where are you going in this one?
Well, those are the two I'm looking at for sure. In first and second, I'm kind of interested in the 6-horse Tyson. He's won 4 out of 5, taken a step up. He's won a Grade 2. He's won a Grade 3. He has shown speed. Could he get out on top and wire the field? It's possible. I think he's a threat. I'm not real high on either Rattle and Roll or Proxy, even though they're really good horses and they're consistent. Rattle and Roll has won 3 in a row. They're all Grade 3s. Or he won 3 straight. And then finished second in a Grade 2, the Stephen Foster, and that's a good race. So this horse is good. And so he deserves to be the favorite. We know what Proxy is. Yeah. He's one of those guys that just comes out and runs pretty good every time. He'll throw in a clunker every once in a while. but he wired the field the last time, and that's kind of unique for him. So, what do you think about that, Aaron? He finished first in the Monmouth Cup and wired it, and he usually doesn't do that.
Yeah, that was an odd situation for him. He got out in front that day. It was kind of a weaker field, and he just kind of loped around there and was able to get it done. And I thought that was one of his better races, and it could be because he was in kind of weaker competition. But I think he could build off of it. I think he's dangerous, obviously.
Yeah.
Look, I actually really like Rattle and Roll. I've had luck with him this year. I picked him in that race he lost last time out to West Willpower, Stephen Foster, and gosh, I thought he ran extremely well. Like,
Sure.
You pick a horse and it runs well.
Yeah.
You can live with getting beat, right? And
Bet.
that was kind of my thing. I watched that race. Said, well, he did exactly what I thought he would do, So what can you do? What can you really be mad about? So, I like him here. I think this is a much easier spot than that last one. The rest of these horses, and I get it. I think people are going to try to take shots with one of the other six that aren't the big two, and I certainly can understand it. I think your pick of Tyson is smart. I think that's a horse that if he takes to this Saratoga surface, he's got a big shot. I think Bright Future, the 8 horse, is another one that kind of feels like an up-and-comer for Pletcher. Kind of the same kind of thing as Tyson. Can he get to the front, kind of steal it? I think if you're going to play an upset here, you do try to take the horse that you think can get up towards the front and kind of stay. And I'm with you. I don't think Proxy's going to the front here. I think he'll be mid-pack this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Rattle and Roll for me, Tyson for you. I really don't. It's weird because you just don't feel like there's going to be Breeders' Cup winners coming out of this, but somebody's got to win the Classic. And
true.
I don't know. It might be one of these horses. You never would have thought this time last year that Proxy and Rattle and Roll would be the 2 favorites for this race.
Yeah.
So,
well, and to clarify, I'm taking Rattle and Roll, but I do like Tyson.
I thought you said you were picking Tyson. Okay,
I'm doing Rattle and Roll, but I think Tyson's got a chance to upset him.
All right. Well, you're planning on playing Tyson for sure in your tickets. So
yes, no doubt.
All right, let's move on to the best bets here. Get you out of here for today. Let's go to Magic first. A little too early for him there on the West Coast to show up for these early shows. So he's not here, but he did phone in a pick. He's going to go race 8, number 9, Feza at Del Mar today. Del Mar race 8, number 9. Feza, pretty self-explanatory. She's a nice horse, and the distance should be pretty perfect for Feza today. I like her quite a bit as well. The horse was undefeated, went to the Black Eyed Susan, which was, longer distance than she's ever run, 9 furlongs. It didn't run bad, got third, just didn't quite have it. I think Magic's thinking, hey, back to the distance she likes, bullet workout last time out. The field's not quite as tough as what she faced there in the Black Eyed Susan. So he is going with Feza. All right, Papa Dude, let's go to yours.
Well, before we get to mine, I'm sure you guys talked about it probably yesterday. Oh God, I can't remember the one, the filly that won the other day at with Anticipations. What's something Gala?
Oh, Gala Brand. Yeah.
You guys talked about that horse yesterday?
No, we didn't mention it.
Well, I thought you would. Was that not an impressive run by that?
Yeah, so what he's talking about, Gala Brand won. She was a filly racing against the boys in the With Anticipation, and there was no pace. She came from way out of it. She came way wide, and she was still able to win. So yeah,
and that's that's the second time she's done that.
Yeah,
when she won the last time, same thing. Just made that big old swoop and just smoked him. And beautiful horse. That is one to keep an eye on as we go on. If she continues to progress, and you can see that she's not quite done growing yet. 2-year-old. Wow, that was impressive. Beautiful. One of the prettiest horses. That's the color of horse I love. And man, she's gorgeous. Anyway, my best bet today, and I'm a Hawkeye fan, but 24 points is awfully hard for Iowa to cover in normal situations because they just don't score that much. Now they do have a quarterback who's played a lot of games in the Big Ten, Cade McNamara. hit the portal and came from Michigan to Iowa. And he won a lot of games at Michigan before J.J. McCarthy came along and beat him out. So this guy is better than Iowa's had. So I'm a little worried about that. But I just don't see them covering 24 against Utah State. So that's my best bet. A game late tonight that I'm really looking forward to see what happened, and I almost picked it, is Coastal Carolina at UCLA. I think this has got upset written all over it. I think Coastal Carolina might win it. And they're 16 and a half point favorites now. It's a lot of points when you got a UCLA team with a new quarterback and you got a Coastal Carolina team with a three-time Conference of the Year quarterback coming back for their fourth year. You know they're ready to play. That's going to be a tough start for UCLA. And the other one I would look at is Northern Iowa at Iowa State. 18 and a half point favorite for the Cyclones against a team that notoriously gives them fits.
Yeah,
that's another one to look at. But I'm going to go Utah State to beat the 24 spread against the Hawkeyes.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's a very good one. I think that makes a lot of sense. That was one I thought about for sure. I definitely think the Hawkeyes trying to cover that is that's an ambitious goal, let's say. I think Northern Iowa is going to beat Iowa State today, but I think they will. So anyway, that's another one for me. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an awesome day of football. All right, let's go on. Final one for me. Best bet. I'm going to baseball, believe it or not. I'm going to go Seattle Mariners minus 130 here. They lost last night to the Mets 2-1. I just don't see them losing again, especially with Castillo on the mound. And I don't like playing minus 130s very often, but shouldn't Castillo on the mound, the Seattle Mariners? I know it's on the road, but shouldn't they be like minus 150, minus 160?
I agree.
I just thought the odds were odd here, and so that was an odd.
I agree with
that, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It was my best bet yesterday was Seattle, one of my best bets on the website. And when I saw, they only scored one run, I was so mad because, you play the Mets, you score one, you should win. If you hold the Mets to 2 is what I'm trying to say, you should win that game.
Yeah.
So, I'm with you today. It may or may not be one of my best bets on the website today. Another one I like is Tampa Bay. It's like minus 120 against Cleveland today. That's another one, that you're getting cheap price with a great team. So anyway, I love this. You're taking a page out of my book here.
I know. I feel kind of weird about it, but you go down and one thing Somich always was preaching. It's like it doesn't matter what the day is. Do what you do from a gambling perspective. Like, hey, it's opening day college football. You need to pound it. It's like if you don't see anything you really like, you don't need to. And don't forget about, that other sport that you've been doing really well in, So I looked at all of it and I'm like, I just think that one makes the most sense from a price standpoint. It's weird that it's minus 130. So
I'll be shocked if they don't win.
Yeah, well, I've been shocked plenty. I'm sure you have as well.
I had too, and I had a bad night last night. So.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the best bets here. By the way, we swept them yesterday, 3-0 yesterday.
Wow.
We got an exacted Saratoga, we got an over/under in college football, and then we got what did Magic do? Magic did a win bet at Del Mar, so 3 for 3, up $260 for the week, up $671 year to date. Let's go through it today. We got 3 Seattle Mariners minus 130 to kick us off. Del Mar for me, for Magic, Del Mar race 8, the 9 horse at 8-5. Then Papa Dude going Utah State plus that 24. All right, guys, there is so much going on today. I think it was Mark that mentioned it. He said his ADD is going to be in full swing. Racing, football, baseball. It's crazy today. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I hope everybody has a really, really good Saturday. Good luck to everybody. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow, normal time at 11 a.m. Central. See you guys.